Hey everybody, christopherodd here. Today I want to show you the first big update for surviving the aftermath, and that is the Outposts update. There's a lot of changes that they've made in here. If you guys don't know, I did a mini series on this game a few months back when it launched, and it was pretty bare bones, but I was still like really addicted. It was kind of one more turn, just one more thing. And there was a lot to tackle. There's more to tackle now. There's a lot of quality of life improvements. So I'm going to do probably just this one video to cover off what some of those changes are and give you an idea of how they've improved things. So this is pretty much the same colony that I was building earlier. And I'll have links down below if you want to check that out. This series is sponsored by Paradox, so thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And if you guys want more information on the game itself, all the information will be down below. Now, you guys are just in time because we're going to have a pandemic strike here, and we have a merchant at our gates. So he's here to offer some trades. He's giving up either metal or nuts and bolts or research. We're going to take the research for trading 10 metal. No problem there. It's a decent amount of research. It takes us up pretty high. That actually brings us into some of the first things that I'm going to show you. If we look at exploration, so I've unlocked frontier outposts. These are outpost depots used for establishing and maintaining outposts on the world map. And the idea here is that we can go out with our specialists, and instead of returning all the way home with the supplies, we can build an outpost depot and drop things off there, and then those get automatically transferred back. So I've already unlocked that. The second thing that I'm going to get into is industrial mining, because one of the main complaints with the game is that you have some limited resources, and once those are gone, you're pretty much hampered. You have to rely on finding things out in the world map. So there's industrial mining here that we're going to unlock. I'll go into energy production 2 so we can get some bigger, better energy producers. And I'll unlock industrial mining here to get metal, concrete, and plastic extractor access. Okay. So, first things first, if we look around here, here's a good example of an underground metal piece. And you can see the resources there, it's tons compared to if you would find like little piles of stuff like this, you're talking 70 to 100. And over here, you're going to be there for a while. So the first thing that we'll start building is the new extractor. And let's go here. Metal extractor. It's going to cost 10 components, which we don't have, but out on the world map, I'll show you where we're going to get those. Okay, so that part is set up. I have a couple of repairs to do here. I'm building an environmental station to get rid of some of the nuclear waste. I've got my trade center built over here, and we'll learn about trade centers in a second. This is another new thing that's in here. The mechanics shop is building. It also needs some of these components. And then I've got an outpost depot down here, which is going to help me set up and establish an outpost in a second. So I hope that makes sense. Specialist-wise, they've changed a bunch of things. There's a whole bunch of new portraits. One of the changes that they made was making sure that their names don't get used in the bios, because there was some overlap there where if the name wouldn't match and it would make things confusing. But there's a lot of changes to that kind of thing. Let's go to the world map. This is where all of the big changes are taking place. So when I loaded up my save, just because it was from a really old version of the game, I had to reestablish all of these little areas. And we have tons of specialists here. We have quite a few colonists going on. So we've got a varied group here. Some of them are already doing work to bring some components to us. If we look at her, she's got all the components from this crash site. We're going to bring those home and we can start building some of those things that we want. One of the best changes that they made, specialist-wise, is that they've made it so that all of the specialist actions sync up when this goes around one full cycle. The way that it worked before is every time you had an individual specialist coming up to do something, you'd have to come out to this map, issue an order, go back in, and you could do it relatively quick, but it was still tedious to come out of the city area and come back to here. So let's prioritize getting these resources back home. You know what? Let's actually do it this way. So instead of walking those back home, let's go ahead and access our Outpost Depot that I've built down here. And this is going to be able to establish an Outpost Depot anywhere that we have uncovered. You can see these little sections get explored when we go next to them. And the map is like, there's a lot to explore out here. So I'm going to place this down in a suboptimal area, obviously. But just to show you guys how it works, we'll place it up here in the zone that she's currently in. Now, instead of having to return home to bring back these resources, we can just bring her here, keep an eye on the components at the top. Once she's in there, boom, components are delivered. And you can set up more than one of these. So if you go back here and you build multiple outpost depots, then you're able to have multiple outposts in the world map, which is kind of nice, but it does take materials to build. It just makes this part so much better because as you get really deep in, you can see, let's take Lena here as an example. So her movement that gets us to here, this is what? 1, 2, basically 3 full turns to get back. Whereas if she has an outpost, even this one, it's 2 turns to deliver the goods, which is pretty nice. Let's go ahead and issue these guys all of the orders. And this one is done. We've got research from there. He's carrying a decent amount and he needs to heal. So we're going to send him back. Lena, let's grab the rest of the wood there. You can discover a new area now if you want. Go for it. One of the things that we're going to be looking for next is other societies that are out in this area. And that's going to unlock trade for us. So we'll try and find where those are. We'll try and split up our group a little bit. Maybe we'll send people out this way. We'll have a Sigyn. We can keep fighting down here. This is a minor victory, but this guy's pretty strong, so we might have to battle a little bit more than I'd like here. But as long as... Oh, there we go. Nice. That'll do. So then we've got wood here, and she's carrying a bunch of other stuff too, which is quite good. Okay, great. Let's go back here and speed things up. So several construction zones are lacking resources. That's fair. We just got these components in, and we only have 2 people that are carrying things right now, mostly because everybody's got jobs. What we can do, since we don't have people sick at this moment, we can remove some people out of the medical tents. I might want to actually consider building another medical tent, only because we have a pandemic coming. If we can get this up in time, great. We have people with medals out here, do we not? Yes, we do. So I've got him set to go in here and grab this, but yeah, it's fine. We'll finish this off and then we'll send him home, but it's gonna take, as you can see, a few days for that to happen. So, okay. Next up, what else do we want to build here? Let's go ahead and set up a large wind turbine. This is going to give us 30 extra energy production, and we need 14 components for it. Nice thing about power and stuff in this game, as of yet, unless they change this down the road, you don't need to put them all together. You don't need to connect up power lines or anything like that. It's just kind of a nice quality of life thing. It's just, you just plop them down and they just work. If we look up here, we don't have any energy storage right now. We've got a wind turbine. We have a couple of solar panels. So one thing we should do is get a battery rack queued up also. And we'll just drop it down here. We're going to be a little short on components, but we'll be able to bring some back relatively soon. Okay, where's this thing at? This also needs components. So those are going to get chewed up really quick. I believe these each require 1 component to repair, and you can see these things are going to go fast. Where are they currently stored? Doesn't really matter where they're stored, to be honest. This environmental station. So once this is up and running, I never built this in the first playthrough, but once this is up and running, this will start to get rid of some of the waste, and we can store it if we want. We should actually do that. Let's go ahead and pick up the rest of this. You're heading home with some tools and some food. Let's have you make a run to the outpost. and you can go in here and start fighting. Now, it gives you a basic breakdown of like what their strength, what their defense is, how much damage you're going to dish out, how much damage they're going to dish out. These guys have way less health, so this guy's sitting on 7 health. Looks like they're protecting iodine pills. We have 100 health per specialist, so even though we end up taking quite a chunk of damage, we can fight quite a bit more before we have to go home. And I'd like to see this system refined a little bit more, to be honest. I think the battling system is an area of opportunity for them, for sure. I just realized I was sending him out. We have 10 components on him. I'm going to be slightly inefficient here, and I'm going to bring him back and deliver those components so that we can get some things built back at base. Okay. So that has 8 out of the 10 components that it needs. That has 5 out of 14. We probably could have tried prioritizing some of these things. I did build a mechanics shop, so this is going to take this like junk stuff and make it into parts. And we're gonna have our pandemic hit very soon. This place, unfortunately, didn't get the components delivered. We have a group of survivors at the gate. All right, so we have another new specialist here, Tigan. They have some candy, they have some medicine, they have some clothing. 5 adults, no kids, and these are the individual skills of the specialist. Now, I tend to just kind of accept everybody and then just build housing for them when we need to. Let's go ahead and drop this down. If you're wondering, if you've played this game a lot and you're just interested in the Outposts update, then you're probably looking at this as like, oh, there's a lot of like suboptimal building here. And we're basically just trying new facilities every time we unlock them. That's kind of been the game plan from the beginning. But there's a lot of things that we've learned over time, and it's been really fun. So metal is an issue. Getting this thing up and running would be really nice, but we need components. So we kind of have to solve that problem a little bit. So we need to try and find some metal. He's carrying a bunch. It's going to take him a while to come home, but again, oh, sorry. We have our new specialist triggered. That's right. Let's send you out to this side. We're looking for societies, and we're going to try to find some there. Most of it, we've scouted way up, we've scouted right, we've scouted down. The only place we haven't gone deep is that left side, so. Now they're all available again, including our new specialist, so ideally, perfect. Ideally, when you get a brand new specialist, get them to work right away, because when all of the specialists come up again, they'll get to move their full abilities. Let's deliver those components. And we have another batch of components back here. This is Greentown. So they have wood and 2 types of food, carrots and bread. So the way that this works, when we come back in here, we get a notification saying new trade deals are available. And the way we access trade is down here. So we have 1 society encountered. Currently, they're offering up the bread and the planks. We can pick one of these. We have a ton of planks. We have a ton of food too, to be fair. But they each take this amount of time to expire, or to activate, I should say. The way to get more trade routes is twofold. Number 1, if we go into the trade center, we can put another worker in. If we put another worker in, that's another route that we can take. So we have 2 active trade routes now. If we want to, we can build more of these and put more workers in. And then there you go. We'll have more trade routes available if we find more societies. So let's just drop this down here. We'll get that building. This is done. Let's go back here and finish up our moves. Come on in. Let's go drop off at the outpost. Thank you. He's carrying a lot of stuff. Or she is. Let's bring you back to base. And some of them could use a heal or 2 as well. Let's see. Can we go and scout this? We can on the next turn. And let's fight here. See what they're holding. Okay, so there's iodine pills there. Now, when we were playing originally, I don't think we had iodine pills. In my testing of this new update, there has been iodine pills and a couple of other new medicines that I don't recall. So these guys are homeless. We have this happening, but we're just waiting for metals. We're going to get that metals delivery soon, and that will kickstart a lot of our builds. We're going to have to deal with a pandemic, and that's going to take up a lot of water. Untreated colonists, disease dehydrates the body, build medical facilities, and we have a lot of medicine. I think we should be okay. We're going to go ahead, and as soon as this hits, we'll make sure that everyone's working in here. Okay, we have a power shortage right now, and that's mostly because we don't have this extra wind happening. We're powering everything off of this and 2 solar panels. I'm going to go ahead and pause the insect farm. We have a ton of food right now. That's going to mean that this can keep producing, and when this one hits, we'll reallocate some of our power a little bit. Awesome. We can... Let's put this on pause too, the environmental station. Just to kind of keep things above board. And we're going to get this pandemic ASAP. I wouldn't mind if we got more colonists just so we can have more workers. But we do want to balance and keep some people being able to carry and build and stuff. Okay, so let's have her go for the iodine pills. And we'll keep bringing you back. Now, if we ignore these guys, if we just queue this up like we have, he'll just go there if you go back to your base and you don't give him orders. But I actually don't mind just tabbing through here because it makes sure, for me at least, it helps me ensure that I'm not missing anything. Okay, let's have you go this way. And then we'll get you onto these components. Right now, the only way to get components, to my knowledge, is finding them out on this map. I'm hoping that there's a way at some point to build like an advanced building that will let you create those, because they seem to be some of the rarer things, and it really slows down your build, which is kind of sad, but I'm sure over time that'll get developed. Okay, so here's our pandemic. Let's go ahead and make sure that everyone is staffed. This one's not quite built. It's very close. But let's see. People are going to start getting sick. They're going to head for these areas. Water is going to start to drop more significantly, but we have quite a bit stored in our 3 water towers. All right, there's some infections. We have a bear spotted. Let them try to hunt down the bear. I mean, what could go wrong? I mean, it could be worse. We'll take care of those injuries, hopefully soon. Specialists are ready. Oh, come on now. 2 more days and he's going to be back. Zhang is all healed up. We'll start sending him back out in this area. We'll fight here. We'll keep scavenging here. Now, if you're wondering, like, all of these specialists have different stats. Some of them scavenge better. Some of them get research faster. Some of them can fight better. Some of them can move further. You can be as picky as you want when you're deciding who to let in. This is going to be a big delivery of wood, plastic, concrete, and parts. That's very helpful. Let's keep scanning this way. I believe this was added as well, where you can scroll through your specialists. This is very nice. Okay, everyone's done. Now, at this point, we're kind of just hoping that these guys all get fixed up. I'm going to turn our food back on here, since our power's under control. Okay, medical tent's complete. Let me throw somebody in there. Now, I'm going to I'm going to remove some workers from certain areas. Tools-wise, we're actually doing pretty good. The recycler, we're doing quite well. Fiber, maybe. This is fiber, right? Yeah, fiber's a little low. One change they made to fiber was that trappers, instead of just meat, they get fiber from like the hides or what have you, right? So that's kind of cool. Let's put that back on pause. I'm just trying to free up people that can still move things around and still get work done. I'm going to turn off one of the tailors, and all of this looks fine. We have 2 people there, 1 here. Okay, let's roll. Okay, medical tent's done. Bunch of infections, concrete ruins depleted. We still have some people homeless, but that'll get sorted out soon when we get this metal back. Life's gonna be way better for everyone. Happiness-wise, well, we're during a pandemic, so there's a pretty huge fear of death currently. A little bit rough. In addition to adding the specialists portraits and making them a little bit more unique, they've also done the same with bandits, I believe. And when you look at the different bandits that you're fighting, they're all going to start to look a little bit different. And I'm sure over time there'll be even more individuality there. Okay, so here's a huge delivery of metal. That's going to start all of our builds. Let's go left, keep exploring. If we can find more societies to trade with, then we can get some different ideas of what's possible to trade. Let's actually just explore this. We don't have a huge need for the iodine pills. Let's go explore this too. Okay, so we got a ton of research sitting out here, actually. His research stat is a 3. You can see some people have stats up in the 5s. Everyone's different, but 3 research is fine. I feel that, like, in order to make these guys even more unique, these stats should vary even more because, yeah, he's not going to gather it as fast, but it's not a huge setback if he's a little bit slower in gathering it. The nice thing about research, too, is that as soon as you gather it, you get access to it. You don't have to wait for them to return to base or anything. So we have 10 colonists infected. All of our places are busy treating. We got 2 workers in each one. We have an injury on Liam, but you can see this is dropping pretty quick. The only downside is that we didn't get a house built in time. This tenement is a little bit slow, but we only got 4 people. So we only got 4 people building, which slows things down. I'll take somebody out of the tool shop. I really want this thing up and running to show you guys soon. And where else can we slim down? We could take somebody out of the scrapper. They have to go super far anyways. Battery rack is complete. Where are you? So this will start to build up. Let's see here. This will start to store energy, similar to how we store water for these type of emergencies. We're going to store energy, and then whenever something happens, something gets broken or what have you, they'll pull from the stored. You know how energy works. You guys got that figured out, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Let's send you out here for the research. One thing I'd like to be able to do on this map, I'd really like to be able to tab through my specialists instead of going over here to have to click on them. I think it would be an easy fix and a really nice quality of life improvement as well. More components, actually, crucial. Okay, okay. Let's, instead of wasting a turn to get these other 3, I'm going to start sending him back just to speed up that process a little bit, so that we can get those components up and running and I can show you the big mining thing. Cool. Found another society. Okay. Nice. Let's see over here. More components. Thank you. Sijin. Where do I want to send you? It's going to take you a while to get anywhere. So let's go up this way. And then you're back at base. We can send you out this way. Okay, so we have 2 people available to trade with now. I think it takes a second to click in. Yeah, there we go. These guys are actually offering science points and venison. This is huge. This is really nice. We have 3 active trade routes. If I find there's our first trade center. Where did I build the other one? Right here. Let's put another worker in here and let's get venison. Now, you're probably wondering, and as am I, it's saying it's a trade center. So what are we giving up? Well, nothing really. This is more of a way of just getting additional materials. And I think that solved like some of the major issues with launch, because you were just stuck once you run out of resources in your own area, and it kind of slowed things down. Having trade centers up allows you to just gather additional resources at the cost of one of your workers, right? Old woman appears in front of the gate. No, literally appeared. Okay. You're surprised to see an old woman, face like a peanut and her body bent, standing in front of the gate. Nobody admits seeing her arrive. The woman cackles. Interested in riddles? Answer this. The bigger I am, the less you have. The bigger I am, the less you will have. What am I? The bigger I am, the less you will have. I mean, a hole, technically, maybe? Arrogance? A lie? Sickness? I would say arrogance or a hole. I have no idea. I think this is a new thing too, where they added like these riddles. Let's say a hole, because as you're taking up like space in the ground, you're gonna have less ground. A wide, toothless smile appears on the woman's wrinkly face. Aye, that it be. She reaches into her robe and hands you a basket filled with medicine before turning around and waddling back down the forest. All right, we got some extra medicine there. Iodine pills. Cool, cool, cool. A bunch of infections are still happening. Hopefully, we're kind of at the end of this infection. Components coming in hot. We have 1 left there. And how's our metal extractor looking? Still quite a bit, but that's okay. Let's prioritize that a bit. Actually, because that only needs 1, I want to make sure that they deliver it there. Let's clear these out. These infections, they're fine. But if I'm pausing these, I'm actually going to free up these workers as well. Okay. Let's see. Can we get you home with those components? My little one. Let's get the components here. There's 41, so she's going to have to hit that a few more times. You could also stack... Like, you could put your guys... You could put multiple people together so they can scavenge faster, but in my experience, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. Now, these societies like Trinity and Greentown, there's not anything that I can do to actually interact with them. They're out here. We do everything through that trade menu, as far as I can tell. Components here. Let's start expanding out this way. Let's get some research there. Okay. Now, part of I think probably the most enjoyable part of this game, if this is your first time seeing it, is actually building up your base. And just starting from scratch. There's so many things that you're going to learn how to do differently over time. But it's just building up your base is super, super enjoyable. And I really like that. Is there anything that I could unlock that might show us something new? There's a reinforced gate. So approaching a reinforced gate makes anyone respect a society living behind it a bit more. Survivor groups are questioned in more detail before letting them join the colony. Sometimes questioning can reveal important information about the group's conditions. So I think if we have this, I don't even know if we need to build anything. I think it will just give us more information when people come to visit. Let's take a look here. Yeah, so we got like a big ass gate now. And if we go into here, we can't construct a new gate or anything. So this is just automatically upgraded. Only 3 colonists left infected. The pandemic actually didn't go that bad. Didn't go that bad. We got housing up for everybody. Yeah, very cool. And once this metal extractor is done, then we'll be able to show you guys what that's doing. And that'll be like pretty much the major changes. They've also changed graphics. They've changed a whole bunch of stuff. It runs really well. They've made a bunch of balance changes. And It's just they're constantly working on it. One of the things I like in their patch notes too is that they talk about the things that the community requested. So they do obviously implement their own fixes, but they also pay attention to the forums and like seem to actively be developing it, which I love because I think this game has a ton of potential. It has a ton of potential. Like, I thoroughly enjoy my time in here, even though it's not a fully complete game yet. And I'm aware of the fact that there's things that they're still adding, you know? Oh, did I miss someone? Yes. You can go out this way. Okay, so there's our components. We have 7 people moving and building, so let's see what gets finished first. This is just waiting for a builder. It has all of the materials. This is going to get the materials. And then we're going to be rocking and rolling. Plus, we'll be able to turn everything on, or close to everything. There's still other things in here. Like, if I was doing a full playthrough, this would be much different. But what my hope is that as they release these updates, I'm able to show you guys some of the updates. And then when everything's done, then we go through a full campaign or something. I think that would be really enjoyable. Okay, new resources are now available. So since these are completed, I think we need to wait. It'll give us another prompt saying, hey, we can do stuff again. Wind turbine's done. We're up to 32 power. Let's turn our cricket production back on. And we'll put a couple of workers in. Okay, so maybe we have to wait for these. I haven't gone through multiple cycles of those. Let's keep hitting the components and the clothing. And you can keep going left. You can keep scouting new areas. More components. Actually, pretty happy with the amount of components we're seeing. They must have changed that because previously you were not seeing these as frequently, which made things a little bit slow. Look at this. It's happening. It's happening. And this is going to solve our metal problem that this colony certainly has. We can find stuff out in the map, but this being able to get stuff from these depleted resources and having these big extractors is absolutely phenomenal. So now this is producing 5 metal and 3 junk. And then those are going to get refined down into other things. Can I turn this on? Yes. Mm-hmm. And let's see. Yeah, the mechanics shop is going to take those, make them into parts. Here we have new trade deals again. There we go. So there must just be some time where they have to offer up a new deal or something. Either way, whenever we get the prompt, we would go in there and get new stuff. So I hope that this has helped give you guys an idea of what's involved in the Outpost update. It took me, this is not like, you don't just pick up from here and just have all these outposts, right? This was probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours of work to get here. And you could probably get there faster if you built more efficiently than we did. You can see how we built out in that little mini series I talked about if you check the links down below. But if you guys have other questions, let me know. I'll have all the information that you need in the description anyways. But if there's something outstanding, hit me up and I will try to answer for you. Anyways, this is the Outpost update for surviving the aftermath, and I'm excited for each of these. They're doing monthly updates to this. They do a lot of little ones in between the big ones. So I'm excited to follow this along. And then when it fully launched, I'm going to be right in there. I'm pretty excited. Thanks again for watching, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.